Welcome to Stoic Courage. Not every woman who looks powerful is truly powerful. Some confuse chaos with strength, drama with depth, validation with value. But there's a kind of woman who's quietly destroying herself because she reacts to everything, takes nothing seriously, and never looks within. In this video, we reveal 6 clear signs of a foolish woman, not to shame her, but to see her clearly, and more importantly, to remind ourselves of what real feminine wisdom actually looks like. Let's begin. The Stoic perspective. What is foolishness? A fool is not someone who lacks intelligence. A fool is someone who refuses to use it. The ancient Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they didn't define foolishness by IQ or education. They defined it by behavior, by mindset. To them, a foolish person was someone who let emotions run their life, someone who chased comfort instead of virtue, someone who blamed the world for everything they felt inside. Epictetus said it best. It's not events that disturb people, it's their judgment about those events. In other words, life doesn't mess you up. Your perception does. And the fool is the one who never questions their perception. That's the danger. A foolish woman isn't necessarily loud or wild. Sometimes she's quiet, polished, even admired. But inside, she reacts, not reflects. She moves from feeling to feeling without ever pausing to ask, is this wise? Is this true? Is this necessary? The Stoics believed that wisdom is a choice, a daily battle, and foolishness. It's what fills the space when you stop fighting. 6 signs of a foolish woman. 1. She chases attention, not purpose. Her soul is hungry, but she feeds it with noise. She's always visible, not because she has something to say, but because she can't bear being unseen. A new outfit, a cryptic quote, a perfectly timed story. Every post is bait, every reaction is her fuel. But here's the truth. A woman who needs the world to look at her hasn't looked at herself. And the attention she gets, it never satisfies. Because what she truly craves is purpose. But purpose is quiet. Purpose doesn't scream. It whispers in the solitude, and she's never there long enough to hear it. Stoic contrast. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good person should be. Be one. Attention fades, but virtue stays." 2. She blames everything but herself. Her life is a mirror she refuses to clean. When things go wrong, it's never her. It's the guy, the job. The energy wasn't right. She tells stories to escape one truth. She made a choice, and it had consequences. But in her world, accountability is cruelty. Taking responsibility, that feels like punishment. So she lives in a loop. Different faces, same pain. And every year the world gets meaner. But it's not the world. It's her avoidance hardening into bitterness. Epictetus said, "The first step to wisdom is blaming yourself, not because you're guilty, but because it's the only place you have power." 3. She can't delay gratification. She's addicted to now and bankrupt tomorrow. Pleasure is her drug of choice. New shoes, fast love, loud nights. She can't say no to impulse. And the saddest part? She calls this freedom. But freedom without discipline is chaos in disguise. And sooner or later, the bill comes due. Because nothing real grows in instant soil. Everything that matters takes time. And she gave her time to everything that didn't. Seneca warned us, no plague is more dangerous than a self-indulgent life. She wanted to feel good, but she forgot how to be good. 4. She fears silence and solitude. She fills her world with noise, so she doesn't have to face her own voice. She always needs someone, a voice, a chat, a plan, not because she's social, but because being alone forces her to feel something she's been avoiding, herself. In silence, truth speaks. And that's terrifying when your life is built on distractions. She thinks loneliness is the enemy. But the real enemy is being emotionally homeless, unable to sit inside her own soul without trying to escape. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Nowhere can a man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." The wise don't run from silence. They return to it. 5. She hates feedback and worships her ego. She'd rather be praised than improved. Try to correct her and she'll say, "You're just judging me." Try to give insight and she'll call it an attack. To her, being wrong feels like being broken, so she armors herself with pride. But ego doesn't protect, it isolates. It pushes away truth, love, and growth. Here's what Stoicism teaches. Pride is brittle, but humility bends and survives. Seneca once wrote, "A wise person welcomes correction more than flattery. The foolish resist mirrors. The wise build themselves with them." 6. She confuses control with strength. Her obsession with control is fear-wearing lipstick. She always needs to know, where are you? Who are you with? Why didn't you reply in 10 minutes? She calls it love. But love doesn't chain people, it frees them. What she really fears is being left. And instead of facing that fear, she tries to manage it by managing you. But Stoics understood this long ago. You can't control others. You can only master yourself. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and you achieve it by controlling your own desires." Real strength isn't about power over others. It's about peace within. This isn't just about women. You've heard the signs, you've seen the behaviors, and maybe you've recognized someone in your life. But let's pause for a second, because this isn't just about her, it's also about you. The truth is, foolishness doesn't wear a dress or lipstick. It wears human skin. It lives in all of us, man or woman, waiting for a moment when we stop paying attention. Every time you react instead of reflect, every time you avoid silence, every time you chase validation over virtue, you step closer to the foolish version of yourself and further from who you were meant to be. The Stoics didn't judge people, they judged actions. Because wisdom isn't about your identity, it's about your integrity. So before we continue, ask yourself, which part of me is still foolish? And be honest, because that's where real growth begins. The wise woman. She's not quick to speak, not because she has nothing to say, but because she thinks first. She filters her thoughts through clarity. She separates feelings from facts, desires from values. And just because she feels something doesn't mean she believes it. That's her quiet power. She doesn't trust every emotion. She watches them, learns from them, but she doesn't act on impulse because she knows not everything urgent is important. Her mind is a calm fortress. It doesn't mean she's cold. It means she's trained. She has thoughts that would burn others alive, but she holds them, breaks them down, and speaks only when ready. When she speaks, she doesn't argue. She dissects. She doesn't fight to win. She listens to understand, because truth matters more than victory. She doesn't chase chaos. She creates clarity. And in love, she's selective, not because she's closed, but because she understands the cost of bonding with the wrong man. She can walk away from what she wants if it costs her peace. She doesn't just ask, "Do I feel good?" She asks, "Is this aligned with who I'm becoming?" That's Stoic wisdom in feminine form. A soul guided by reason over reaction, principle over pressure, depth over drama. And when you meet her, you'll know. Not because she tells you, but because you'll feel it. You've just met a woman who mastered herself. There are only two paths, the path of reaction and the path of reason. One is easy but costly. The other is hard but liberating. Foolishness is not always loud. Sometimes it looks glamorous. Sometimes it sounds confident. But when life tests you, it collapses. Wisdom, on the other hand, is quiet. It doesn't scream for attention. It doesn't beg for applause. It just stands, unmoved. And every day, whether you realize it or not, you're becoming one or the other. Not through what you say, not through what you post, but through how you think, how you choose, how you carry yourself when no one is watching. The foolish blame, chase and react. The wise pause, reflect and rise. So don't ask, do I look wise? Ask, am I living wisely? Because in the end, that's what separates the noise from the presence, the temporary from the timeless, the foolish from the free.